What's up, y'all? It's Nico with Gaming After Hours, and with the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Teal Mask, set to release in just a few hours, I thought I would go over my in-game team from my playthrough of Pokemon Scarlet, since, with every new game in DLC, I try to make a new team, which means, unfortunately, that these guys are not invited to the party. First up, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Quaquaval. When the starters for Scarlet and Violet were first revealed, we all knew Quaxly, who quickly became the fan favorite, had to turn into an absolute monster. With a solid 120 base attack, decent bulk, and decent speed, Quaquaval has the stats of a real offensive threat. And to take advantage of this, I maxed his attack and speed EVs and gave him a Jolly Mint to ensure he moves first as often as he can. Quaquaval's water fighting typing is great offensively and allows him to check water, fire, steel, and dark types. Quaquaval also has good move pool options with stab, water, and fighting moves, priority with Aqua Jet, flying coverage and recovery with Brave Bird and Roost, utility with U-Turn, Ice Spinner, and Taunt, and he can even set up with Swords Dance and Bulk Up, but it's his hidden ability Moxie and signature move Aqua Step that make Quaquaval an absolute force of nature. Quaquaval's signature move Aqua Step has a base power of 80 with 100 accuracy and boosts his speed each time it is used, and if you manage to land a KO with this or any other attack, Quaquaval's hidden ability Moxie will kick in, giving him a +1 attack boost. Left unchecked, this can quickly snowball out of control. To take advantage of his fighting stab, I gave mine Low Kick to take out the heavies, though it is not as reliable power-wise as Close Combat, but it also doesn't come with the stat drops Close Combat does, and this is useful since we want Quaquaval alive and dancing all night long. Acrobatics without an item to double its attack power is the last coverage option to take out grass types that threaten to trip up our sure-footed starter, and Brave Bird with or without Roost is another option to cover this weakness. Finally, I gave Quaquaval Aqua Jet for priority against those that outspeed him and as a swan song if his number is up and we know we can't pick up another KO. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget, and some dance for the sweep. Okay, now for an actual fan favorite. Everyone expected Paldean Quagsire when Paldean Wooper was revealed, but instead we were blessed with the Convergent Evolution Clodsire, the dopiest good boy we could have ever hoped for. Most of my friends had Clodsire on their teams, and everyone I talk to loves this guy. But if you don't, comment down below and tell us what you don't like about this absolute perfect specimen. Clodsire's enormous bulk, resistances to common offensive types, double resistance to poison, and electric immunity make this blob very difficult to disintegrate. Adding another immunity with Water Absorb and the potential to heal upon switching into a baited water attack fortifies the Sire's position as King of the Swamp. By using a careful mint and maxing its HP and attack EVs, I made my Clodsire a mixed wall that could still hit hard. Clodsire's modest base attack stat is accompanied by a move pool that contains powerful stab options in Gunk Shot and Earthquake, powerful rock coverage with Stone Edge, and the Sire also has plenty of utility options with Toxic, Stealth Rock, Toxic Spikes, and Yawn. He even gets immediate recovery with Recover, making him extremely difficult to take down. Switch in, sponge attacks, and watch Clodsire wreak havoc on opposing teams. Clodsire's ground typing and thus immunity to electric attacks makes it a perfect backup to Quaquaval when faced with electric types. Clodsire also makes a great backup to fire types when dealing with imposing water types. If you know a water attack is likely incoming, switch in Clod with Water Absorb, soak up that free recovery, and look for your opponent's tears in the rain. Terra Poison Clodsire is a great answer to fairy types when using either of its stab poison attacks, Poison Jab, or Gunk Shot, and Clodsire's ground typing makes it a great answer to opposing poison types as well. Clodsire's ground typing also perfectly complements its poison typing and allows it to hit opposing steel types that normally would be immune to poison attacks for super effective damage. And I like to run Stone Edge on mine to hit those flying types for massive damage. Finally, I had my Clodsire hold Black Sludge to increase its defensive capabilities and give it passive recovery. Regardless of whether or not you love or hate this guy, though I can't imagine how you could hate him, Clodsire is an absolute unit, earning himself a spot as not only one of the most beloved Paldean Pokemon, but also as one of the most devastating. Now, I'm a big fan of Pokemon, but before I was a Poke fan, I was a huge fan of Mega Man. So when it was announced that a Mega Man Pokemon in my favorite color, Red, was going to be in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I knew I was going to have it on my team. Armarouge's design is polarizing, but I think he is the epitome of cool and stylish, and he was the backbone, armor of my team for most of the playthrough. Fire Psychic is a great offensive typing, and with great defensive bulk and special attack, Armarouge can hit powerful physical mons where it hurts, in the mind. His ability Flash Fire also gives him a fire immunity and allows him to get free boosts on the predicted switch. Armarouge has a great move pool with Stab, Fire, and Psychic options, a signature move Armor Cannon, which acts like a special Fire-type close combat, special Fighting, Grass, Ghost, and Dark coverage options, as well as utility with Trick, Will-O-Wisp, and Taunt. Clear Smog is also in there to reset stat buffs on the opponent, and I personally made use of this in my playthrough and in raids. I built my Armarouge with a Timid Mint and maxed speed and special attack EVs to make it swift and deadly. Armarouge is a great switch-in for fairy types when a steel-type move is on the horizon, as it can soak the hit, shake it off, and fire back with a powerful fire option. I prefer moderately powerful moves with perfect accuracy and no drawbacks in general, so I went with Flamethrower, the classic safe option from Gen 1. The Shell Bell allows for passive recovery as long as Armarouge is dishing out damage. This guy is also great for hitting poison and fighting types with its powerful psychic moves. And again, with the Shell Bell equipped, dishing out the pain gives you life. Armarouge is just too cool and red hot, and quickly became one of my favorite new Pokemon during my playthrough of Pokemon Scarlet. He basically looks like an honorary box legendary, and I hope we have more Pokemon designed like he is in the future. During my playthrough of Scarlet, I was lucky enough to find a Frigibax pretty early on, so of course I added the Paldean pseudo-legendary to my team. Baxcalibur, the Excalibur axe in its back Pokemon, like all pseudo-legendaries, has solid bulk, a great attack stat, and a decent offensive typing. Dragon, while pretty good as a defensive typing, is somewhat offset by the many weaknesses the Ice type brings, though the Dragon Ice typing combination is pretty good offensively because Dragon hits most things neutrally, and Ice in general is just a great offensive typing at the cost of its many weaknesses. Baxcalibur's signature move Glaive Rush is quite powerful, but comes at the cost of doubling damage done to Baxcalibur until it attacks again. Getting a KO on your opponent and priority moves like Ice Shard can help mitigate this, but it is still a high-risk, high-reward move. Baxcalibur's move pool has quite a few other options, including Steel, Ground, Water, and Electric coverage moves, and our pseudo-legendary for Paldea gets both Swords Dance and Dragon Dance to further boost its stats for a sweep. In practice, Glaive Rush coupled with Baxcalibur's immense attack stat makes quick work of opposing dragons, and Terra Ice-type removes his Ice-type weakness, giving him an Ice-type resistance, and further boosts his potency against opposing dragon types. Baxcalibur's ability Thermal Exchange ensures that Baxcalibur's attack cannot be lowered due to getting burned, and it also gives him an attack boost if he just so happens to get hit by a fire attack. Finally, I gave my Baxcalibur a Rocky Helmet to hold, that way whenever a Pokemon makes contact with an attack, they will take some residual damage, making this thing even more of a damage-dealing machine. Considering this Pokemon's inspiration combining dragons, mythological weapons, cold things, and little red hand covers, Baxcalibur brings a lot to the table and is too cool for school. Now, when each new Pokemon game comes out, we all get excited about all of the new designs and making a team using mostly new Pokemon, but I also like to bring one or two from previous generations along to remember what I love about them in previous games. The first one of this category for me is Corviknight. Flying Steel type is amazing defensively with 6 resistances, 2 double resistances, 2 immunities, and only 2 weaknesses. Compounded with this typing, Corviknight's bulk is totally serviceable and only really needs a bit of speed to be a terror. Corviknight is mainly known for its iron defense buffed body presses, a strategy we use to defeat the 7-star Rillaboom raid, but it also has flying stab options, U-turn for momentum, plenty of support in Roost, Defog, Tailwind, and Taunt, and it can boost itself while tanking attacks with bulk up. Power Trip can also be used as a dark alternative to a boosting attack option too if you want to go that route. I went with a pretty vanilla build, utilizing the safe options of Drill Peck for my flying stab, Steel Wing for my steel type move, Hone Claws to increase attack and accuracy, and Terra Blast since I found myself terastallizing my Corviknight into ice type a few times in the game. A careful mint to boost special defense and maximum EVs in special defense and attack made mine a mixed wall much like my Clodsire build, and I got this guy from a raid with the hidden ability Mirror Armor to reflect stat change attacks opponents make at me. With the classic recovery item leftovers, Corviknight has longevity to get in, support or boost, and make your opponents cry, nevermore, nevermore. And finally, we have the Nightmare, the monster under your bed. Fear itself, Grimmsnarl. Ever since the release of the Fairy type in the Generation 6 games X and Y, I have wanted a Pokemon with the dual typing of Dark and Fairy. The Generation 8 games Sword and Shield gave us just that. Back during the great shiny heist of Sword and Shield, I hosted a Gigantamax Grimmsnarl raid den for months with my friends so we could all get our fill of the hairy, muscular, goblin-esque prankster. Grimmsnarl quickly became one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, and I would even go as far as saying he is quite possibly my signature ace. If I were a gym leader, Elite Four member, or some other reputable trainer class, that is. Dark Fairy typing is great offensively and also comes with only 3 weaknesses, 1 resistance, 1 double resistance, and 2 immunities. Did I mention how much I love immunities? A base 120 attack stat is nice, and although his defenses and speed aren't that great, Grimmsnarl's move pool and abilities make up for it. With great Dark and Fairy stab options, priority and Sucker Punch, access to plenty of support options including Screens, Taunts, and Thunder Wave, and the Prankster ability, Grimmsnarl can surprise your opponents by moving first, and you never know what a Grimmsnarl has hiding up his sleeve. Grimmsnarl backs up nicely to Clodsire in the face of a Psychic attack due to his immunity as a Dark type, and my all-out attacker build fires back with False Surrender, a move that never misses, to punish Psychics trying to take out the Sire. Spirit Break is a great option for Fairy Stab, as it also lowers the opponent's special attack 1 stage, and Sucker Punch acts first in the face of faster attackers. I gave my Grimmsnarl Thunder Punch as its final coverage move since, by the time I made my team, I didn't really have a good answer to water types outside of Water-absorbed Clodsire. To maximize Grimmsnarl's attack and bulk, I dumped all of his EVs into attack and HP and topped him off with an Adamant Mint so he can hit like a truck. Because I used an all-out attack build, I went with the ability Frisk since Prankster would have been useless, and I threw an Assault Vest on him to further buff his special defense. This trickster will always have a place in my heart and a spot on my team, and I was glad to be able to experience my treasure hunt in Paldea with my right-hand man at my side. And there you have it, my in-game team for Pokemon Scarlet. Comment down below which Pokemon you used in your playthroughs, which Pokemon you wanted to use but didn't have room for, and which Pokemon you are most looking forward to using in the Teal Mask DLC. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time here on Gaming After Hours.